This is a Grandstand pinball wizard, perhaps better known as a Tomy Astro shooter pinball and the bigger brother of the Tomy atomic pinball. In my opinion, it's a better game than its smaller sibling. But the one I have isn't in very good condition, it's missing a leg, it has no power supply, and it doesn't work. So on today's Retro Tech Repair, we're going to be trying to fix this Grandstand pinball wizard or Tomy Astro shooter pinball that I bought spares or repair on eBay. So I got myself this Grandstand pinball wizard, spares or repair on eBay, and it's the same as a Tomy Astro shooter pinball. In fact, the playfield here I think is exactly the same as one model of Astro shooter, but the graphics on the scoreboard here and on the front are slightly different. These are paper, obviously that is printed on some metal for the kind of playfield there. Anyway, I bought it spares or repair with a view to putting it on the channel, but then when I hooked it up to my bench power supply, it played just fine. So I thought, well, okay, all I got was this and this 1 foot. I didn't get a power supply for it, so I bought a new power supply for it. But in the meantime, I thought, well, I'll have a game with it. And when I had a game with it, it did this. And I'm pretty sure that it would have continued to behave like that for as long as I was prepared to leave it. So I think what's going on here is that the machine is behaving as if it has a ball in the kick out here. And this is a quite common fault apparently. Let's see if we can get one in there to show you. There we go. So sitting in one of these kick outs but not actually being kicked out of it. I think that's what it's behaving like. We need to open this up and see if we can fix this kick out mechanism here. But before we get into that, let's deal with this foot situation first. As I say, I only got the one, and obviously it's important to have two to play the game. The game depends on being tilted this way, so the ball rolls towards the flippers. And on the back of the unit here, you take two of these legs and kind of slot them in. So I decided to sell the one leg that I had as a spare, and then 3D print a matching pair of my own. But suppose you don't have a 3D printer at home, or you need more parts, or better quality parts, in a hurry. That's where the sponsors of today's video, PCBWay, come in. Of course, you probably know that they're experts in making high quality PCBs of all types, from simple prototypes to complex multi-layer boards in all kinds of colours and finishes. But it's not just PCBs, they can also do CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, injection moulding, and of course, 3D printing in a huge range of colours and materials. Uploading your design is easy, just drop in your files, pick your options, and get an instant quote and parts in your hand within a few days. So whether it's electronics, metal parts, or custom prints, PCBWay have you covered. There's a link in the video description, and I'm very grateful to them for sponsoring the video today. Now let's get back to fixing this kick out. This just comes off like so. In fact, I think when you get it, these ship separately. And there's, I think, 3 screws or 4 screws holding it here. I've had this apart already just to clean it up. And like I say, it was working great at that point and then it stopped. If I remember right, this is a bit tricky to get off, but it's come away pretty easily this time. So then these need to come off before we can get to the play or the mechanism. Maybe that too, does that come off? No, I think that's okay. I think we can work around that. So then we lift out the play field here. All right, it's coming. All right, so I can lay this off to the side here. Here's our kick-out mechanism with the ball still stuck in it. That won't come out now. It's really kind of tricky to get out. I need a magnet or something. So this is the magnet from my microphone. There we go. I'll put that somewhere safe because I'm sure to lose it otherwise. I'm not at the best angle to do this. I'll probably switch it around in a minute. Let's see if that is enough. This blue cog here is what drives the scoreboard. It connects into the bottom of the scoreboard here when you kind of assemble the unit. It's driven by this kind of shaft, and that shaft is on another shaft, and that shaft here has a cog on it. And if we zoom in on that cog, we can see that it is loose on the shaft. So whilst this is turning, this shaft that it's on isn't. But I don't know whether that's intentional or not. And it's on a spring, so my guess is it's supposed to be that way. My theory then is that the problem still lies inside of this unit. So we're going to carefully open this up and see what's inside. Slightly worrying. Obviously it's got some springs inside. Now this, first of all, appears to be broken. So there's a post here, which I'm guessing is holding this in situ in the game itself. So we'll need to repair that. But for now though, let's just get this open if we can. So this is turning as I try and unscrew it, which isn't helping. Okay, good. Well, that's the post that we need to glue back in place. So we'll put that aside somewhere safe for now. Move everything else out of the way. And we get a screw, there it is. So was that the only screw holding it together? No, that was the screw that's supposed to be holding it in place. There's another screw here and here, which is holding this unit together. So carefully remove those. They had a reassuring crack associated with them, and kind of gives you some confidence that they haven't been opened before. There's also one here. Yeah, I think we're going to need to remove that too. All right, well, it's come loose now for sure. So this is the cog that's often cited as being the one that's in trouble, and I can see straight away that that is cracked. So let's zoom in on that. Hopefully you can see that there. There's a tiny little crack in there, and then this cog is turning on that shaft. It's also a bit kind of oily and greasy, so it's still come off on my fingers, which isn't very pleasant.
I have a collection of plastic cogs that I bought some time ago on Amazon, so I have a rummage around those to see if I can find something that will fit.
Right, so I managed to find a cog that's about the right size. Oops, drop that. It's got a larger kind of back wheel on it. It's a two-piece, I suppose, but its smaller piece is a perfect match for the one that's here, if a little bit shorter perhaps, but never mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up the shaft here, and then give it a clean up with some emery cloth as well, maybe, and see if these two will fit together.
So I cleaned up the shaft with some IPA and with some wet and dry paper, but I'm not convinced it was a good idea.
Looks like maybe it was coated in something. Whatever it was coated in, it's not coated in it anymore. So I came up with the idea of freezing this shaft. Hopefully it would contract a little bit and I'd be able to kind of push this on. I don't know if it's going to contract enough for me to be able to do that.
So I thought I'd measure the shaft before we froze it, and as we can see, it's about 2.5 millimeters. And I don't have any freeze spray, so into a baggie it goes, and into the freezer.
Never get these open, can you? I'm going to put this next to the chips and the pizza. I have repaired an Astro shooter pinball on the channel before, and one question I got more than any other is what kind of power supply does it take? So a little tip here, when I'm looking for a power supply for something which is fairly common like that, I'll take a look at an eBay listing for another one, and I'll see if there's a close-up of the power supply and look at the label on it, and then I'll try and mimic that.
And that's exactly what I did in this case. I found similar Astro shooter games advertised on eBay with their original power supplies, took a look at what those power supplies were rated at, and picked something similar. In this case, a 9V centre negative 1 amp supply.
The next thing I want to do while I'm waiting for that shaft to cool down is to put this screw boss back in. And I've kind of stuck it on a screwdriver just temporarily like that, just to enable me to kind of maneuver it. Hopefully the super glue will be enough to hold it in place. All right, well there it is. We're going to leave that overnight now. Right, so a couple of days have passed and we're back on the grey mat and I have my freshly chilled part. Let's see if it has shrunk any. No. Not at all. So well, that's kind of a waste of time really. I suppose I could hit it with some free spray. I've bought some in the meantime, but I don't think that's the solution.
So I decided I was going to drill the new cog in order to get it to fit on the shaft of the existing part. And for that, I'm using a 2.5mm drill bit.
I don't have a precision instrument to do this with. I have a Makita, so wish me luck, I suppose, really. I think what I'm going to try and do is drill not quite all the way through this, so maybe there's a little bit on there that's still got some of the original on that we can maybe push out of the way to get some friction between this and this. So let's try that and see. Oops. Oh dear. Did I drill into the desk? No! Mercifully, I did not. Thank goodness. I would have been in a lot of trouble and I'd have been quite cross with myself. So, yeah, it's not quite all the way through. I think this is going to be good. Let's give it a go. Oh, it's tight. It's sure tight. No. Won't quite go. Won't quite go. I'm going to try a little harder.
So I tried a little harder, and then when that didn't work, I tried quite a lot harder.
No. No, it's not going to go. I think that's worse. I think I've kind of loosened this one on it now. Yeah, it's not great. All right, so, yeah, don't do that at home, kids. It's not going to go the way that you wanted it to.
So with the new cog now very firmly connected to the shaft, I decided the best thing to do would be to try and tap it into the right position.
So that's, I think, more or less in the middle now. I'm going to cut this bit we don't need away. Oh, that's a bit rough, but it might work.
Fortunately, the existing larger cog didn't seem to have been too damaged by its trauma, and I was able to push it back onto the shaft.
And again, it's still pretty tight. That then sits in here. I forget how this one was now. I'm guessing like that. And then this sits in there. And it all turns around.
So what did we learn here? Well, I think the best thing to do would have been to order a nylon cog which was a perfect match for the factory part, and then install that. If, like me, you're making do with what you have, and decide to modify a cog by drilling it, then the hole through the centre should be about 2.5mm in diameter, and would be best drilled with a pedestal drill to keep it parallel to the edges of the cog.
And then when you do press the two things together, be careful not to push through this piece, really. Put this on a hard surface straight away, push down with this, maybe tap it gently on a hard surface, not on a flimsy desk with a padded mat on it like I did, and you might be okay. I think this is going to work. It's probably not going to be the best solution, but let's pop it all back together now and see.
And the good news is that it plays just fine. The bumpers are perhaps a little less sensitive than I would like, but I think that's normal manufacturing variability from one game to the next. It might well have been like that from new, and I don't think it's got anything to do with the repair that I've done. The gameplay is a lot more involved than that of its smaller sibling, Atomic Pinball. There's a hidden ball feature named Hyperspace, with an alpha return. And crucially, the kickouts now work as they should. And that just about wraps it up for our Pinball Wizard for today. I hope that you've enjoyed the video, and that if you have, you will like and subscribe. And until next time, I'd just like to thank you so much for watching Retro Tech Repair.
Now the plate. Oops. And off we come with the lid.